All right, all right. Everyone, please welcome Cam Duncan to the show. We've been connected on Twitter for I don't know how long. It's been years at this point. It's been
Years.
years. So,
Yeah.
Cam is an expert in the digital marketing side. I've seen him put together some amazing websites, some funnel stuff. And I think this is a guy you need to talk to if you're new to the online business space because he's going to help you get set up in the basics of business because most people are overlooking this part, but what Cam does is super important. Cam, welcome to the show.
Appreciate it, man. It's been a long time coming. I'm really excited to talk to you today, just about everything to do with websites and funnels because I myself, I was never an expert. I started out not knowing anything when we first connected, right? I was just trying to learn, trying to find my way in this space, and I've managed to build something out of nothing. So I feel like a lot of people listening that feel like you need to be an expert to begin. It's not the case, and I feel like I represent that quite well.
Right? I think that's all of us, though. Everybody starts. It's really a test of entrepreneurship if you're really built for it. Because in the beginning, I would say for the first year, I kind of had that feeling of, am I qualified? Am I doing enough? And you don't really know. Like when I first started, I did not have any of this equipment. Like I was just in the bathroom with nothing. So I think
Yeah.
we all start from the bottom.
Yeah, well, I remember seeing like on your Twitter feed, like you like perched up with your like this real like put together setup, and now you've got the whole thing going on. It's awesome, man. Like it's good to see like the growth, but that's the thing that people overlook is that the growth is all part of like the journey, and that's the part that actually makes it fun. And then when you use like Twitter or whatever you use to share your journey, that's how you build relationships like you and I have. I've built hundreds of relationships now that will serve me forever, and in the best kind of way. Like you don't do it to get the rewards, but they just naturally, it's a byproduct of building relationships, is the rewards you receive from doing this kind of thing. And like as you mentioned, we've connected hundreds of times, but that same network effect, and like funny, like that's the name of the show, but like the network effect is like it's true, man. Like who would have thought that I'd be up early in the morning in Australia speaking to you about websites? Like that's just the age we live in. But like it's just that's the power of this kind of thing that we can really take advantage of.
Man, and it's super useful. So I want to talk to you a little bit about the funnels, a little about the
Mm,
websites, and let me ask you this. Well, I got a pre-question before I ask my main question.
okay.
Is it possible to have a funnel without a website?
Yeah, well, I think that's a misconception that a lot of people get. Everyone has a funnel. It just determines how good your funnel is. So if you have a Twitter feed and it leads to a website, that's a funnel. Whether it's any good and it actually converts, that's up to how well you can design, how well your flow is set up. So the easiest way I define a funnel whenever, because people, that's the number one question, right? What is a funnel? People always hit me with that. And I say, look, man, it's taking your customer on a journey from interaction, your first interaction, to your first sale, to your upsell, to your like whatever's next. That's your customer journey is actually your funnel. It's just your
Hmm.
lead funnel, the top of your funnel is capturing everyone. So what we're doing now, it's a perfect example of a top of funnel content that we're making. Obviously, we're just having a chat. We're getting to know each other better, but it is an example that will draw more people to both of our funnels in the future. So yeah, you can have a funnel without a website, but it is
Hmm.
recommended to have a website to make your funnel more optimal and be able to track the conversion rate that you're getting people from social media to buying your products.
Oh, I love that. I love that. I think funnels are important. I know they are. I
Mm,
think funnels have gotten a bad rap and a bad reputation because of like click funnels. I know
mm,
people who like millionaires who own software companies who like have thousands of users. They're making $1 million a month. Some of these people, and
mm.
they hate click funnels. They absolutely hate it. So, let me. I want to. My specific question is, how do you feel about click funnels? Like, is it necessary, or was you better off building something outside of that?
Well, the ClickFunnels, Russell Brunson, the creator of ClickFunnels, he's a genius, man. He just gets it. He understands it all. The putting funnels into a software practice is difficult, and he's tried to make it as simple as possible. And the more simplified you make something, the more you open up to scammers, people that try
Yeah.
and use things for the bad reasons, right? Because it's so simple. So that's where I think ClickFunnels has got a bad rap. But I really believe if you're a beginner, something like a ClickFunnels or a funnel building software is what you kind of want to use to get your feet wet in the area, in the space, because you understand the sequence that customers have to go through. You go from, capturing leads to your first sales page, creating that. Because if you're trying to code something from scratch, you're going to get frustrated and just give up, right? Whereas if you can just drag and drop and put things into place, it makes things a lot easier. And ClickFunnels is a really good program for that. And they have the education that comes along with it is what makes ClickFunnels ClickFunnels. And like if you've read any of the documentation they put out and stuff like that, you really get a simplified version. But that, like I said, it opens it up to the scamming side of things. But as a whole, I think the company's great.
Okay. Okay. I wanted to get your perspective on ClickFunnels
Mm,
because it's such. I think the scammers, like you said, the people that use it, they're the loudest. They're
mm,
louder than the people that use it correctly. And I think
yep.
that's the problem is the kind of the bad people are the loudest for it and they give it such a bad name. Like I have people that reach out to me to this day. One actually reached out to me yesterday on Facebook like, "Hey, I can set up your funnel." And it's
Mm,
like, well, I know it's necessary. It's
mm.
just I think there are other things that people should be focused on early on. But let me ask you, what do you think somebody should start with first if they're building an online business? They have only, let's just say, 3 months in their specific niche. Like, should
Right.
they be building a website? Should they build a funnel? Should they build products first? Like, how does this work?
Well, I'm actually creating documentation around this right now. Probably like call it a course, but I'm just trying to create something to help people get started. But besides the point, the 5 stages that I think people should go through, you start off with the dream, right? Like I'm inspired. I like. For me, it was funnels. I started off trying to because I play basketball as well, but I was like, my dream is to be a basketball coach around the world. So that was my dream. The next step you have to go to is to be a reporter, right? And that's what you're doing right now. You go and talk to other experts in the area to make sure that your skills stack up against everyone else. Because if you just start posting content and your claims and all the information you have isn't verified by other experts, you're not going to make any noise. It doesn't matter what. So if you,
That's
that's
true.
the
That is
key.
a, that's
That's
a
the
good point.
right. So if I'm out here just talking about funnels all the time and I don't have anyone to back it up or retweet me or put like say and verify what I'm saying is true, I'm not going to get any traction. So that's step number two is to do this whole podcasting, reach out, talk to other people, tweet, comment on their things. Like that's what you should be doing initially to verify what you're talking about is true. And then once you get into that space, that's when you build your first funnel. And that's when you want to, the number one thing you want to capture is those leads, right? The emails, the phone numbers, whatever it may be. So that's probably step number one is to make sure you have a passion because you don't want to work on what you're not passionate about, right? And then you want to go and talk to people in your space and make sure what they're talking about, what you're talking about is verified by other people in the space. Once you do that, put out something for free and then just capture emails for that free product. And then you're
Look,
that's step
that
one.
free point is, man, listen, I know a lot of people hate that. They're always talking
Mm,
about get paid what you worth. But I tell people this all the time when I speak at events. Like, my first 2 years in the podcasting industry, I was
hmm
working for free. Like,
Yep.
people would just go to my calendar and schedule appointments, and we would talk for sometimes 30 minutes, sometimes 2 hours. And I
hmm
just gave away free game for years.
Yep.
And it might sound like it's a waste of time, but for me, it helped really set a foundation to where now I can write books on it. I can put out courses. I have a great community in the Podcast Profit Club now. And I also have software. I have multiple
Mm,
software tools now that help podcasters, podcast hosts, editors. I wouldn't be here if I hadn't did that free trial at the beginning of my career. So
yeah.
when Cam says do it for free, don't get afraid like, oh, I'm not making any money. The money is gonna come, I promise you.
Yeah, 100%. My like to give some personal backstory. You watched me for years on the timeline, bro. I was making websites for free for these guys. They only have 10,000, like 15,000 followers on Twitter, but to me, they're that next level that I want to be like, right?
Yeah.
And so I was like, I'm gonna help these guys. I bought their products. I was a customer of theirs, and I went and built a sales funnel for their product. Now, a lot of people said it was dumb, said it was crazy, but from that, just last week, I had my first $5,000 week making websites. No, I'm not saying that to brag. I'm saying to prove the process works. You watched me do free stuff for 3 years, but now you got to see the results of that. So you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like that's a testament to how working for free, and that's probably the next stage after you build your first funnel is like, all right, you've built your free, you put your free lead magnet, whether that's an ebook, a free video course, free service, and then you want to go out there and give that to people that are in that upper. You don't want to go straight to the top. Like I couldn't go to Elon Musk or whatever and build him a website. He's not got, that's not going to work. Everyone's trying that, right? Go where you might actually get a response. Just go to that little next step up. And then if you continually do that every level you rise, eventually you're going to get to the top. It's just a matter of time. So that's that next stage. Once you got something for free, whether that's a skill or a product, go to the next level up, and then just keep serving, just
Mm.
keep serving each level above, and you're going to keep rising as you go.
I love that. I love it. I don't think people think about it as serving. I think that's what has helped me with my funnels. Because in the beginning, I tried to do the tripwire products and all these different things. I had to really create my own style because nobody works with podcasters the way that I do.
Yeah, it's a
Um,
new niche. It's
it's
unique.
super new. It's only 2 million podcasts. It's not like YouTube where there's 31 million YouTube channels. This is just a different
Yeah.
ball game. So I had to find my own way to get those leads, to nurture them, build the relationship. So let me ask you this: what do you think is the number one nurturing strategy? Because for me, I know it's popular to say use emails, but for me, I use my podcast episodes. And
Yeah.
they work extremely well. I actually put them inside of my email sequence. So I'm kind of using email too, but I don't focus on as much copy there. I put more of my content. So what do you think is the best nurturing tool in 2021?
Yeah, well, I think you said it best. The delivery system and the content are completely different things. So whether you're using email, whether you're using text message, personally, I use a Telegram group because I'm international from the US and a lot of my followers are in the US. If I tried to do either of them, the timing isn't going to match up, right? Like right now, I'm talking to you at 6 in the morning, which is fine. I love getting up early. But like if I'm messaging you or emailing you at 6 a.m., you're going to be pretty upset. Like, and then for you guys, it's late at night. You guys are going to be pretty upset with me, right? And that's not really a good way to nurture things. So the delivery system is more of a choice that suits your audience, but the content is either audio, visual, or written. A lot of people chose that written style, but now, let's be honest, do you really read things on your phone? Like who reads things on their phone besides a tweet that's 280 characters? No, no, not many people anyway. If you're driving to work, if you're going for a run, if you're going for a walk, you pop in the headphones, man, and like, why wouldn't you want to listen to a podcast? Why wouldn't you want to just sit on the couch and watch a video? I think content is moving towards that audio visual, if it already hasn't anyway.
Yeah, yeah, it's more impactful this way because when I sold my first course, I'll never forget it. I made my first $1,000 online. Oh my God, that was a great day.
Amazing
But I
feeling.
realized the person that bought it didn't read any of the emails. She was actually reading all of my tweets, all my threads, and then responding on Twitter. And I'm like, why is she on my email list if she's not gonna read the emails? And then she just bought it. I was like, wait, I wrote all these emails for nothing. So that's when I
Yeah.
started deciding to. I created my own podcast episode style. Like I have very specific episodes I produce on this show just so I can nurture my email subscribers, and that
Yeah.
has been working amazing. So what's your personal style? Like, do you talk to your clients to see what works for them, or do you kind of suggest things like, hey, this is the path you should take?
Because I'm just getting in, I've transitioned from being a service provider into sort of like a coach slash mentor space. So I'm still new to that thing. I haven't even released a course yet or anything like that. I'm still just working on my craft. I want to make sure I'm 100%. But the people that I'm working with right now, like in a mentor kind of role, um, I just hit them with a voice message every day, and we just talk and back and forward talk, and they just ask questions, and then I take that down and write that down as like a note, and that's what I'm going to use for content in the future. Because if one person has that question, chances are there are 1,000 people out there that are too scared to ask that question. So
Oh
that's
man, listen. That 2 years I spent talking to podcasters, I documented it very well. I talked to over 500 hosts, and I learned like, man, most of those people had the same questions. Like so much so, it was so easy to put together a course on it, just because I had talked to so many hosts up until that point.
right.
It made it really, really easy, and that was a game changer. So I want to talk to you about websites now.
Mm.
When it comes to websites, what are like your main rules you follow when creating these websites? Because I personally believe that if you have a personal brand, you gotta have a website. You
Yeah,
have to. It's not
100%.
debatable. You gotta have one. So, what are the kind of the rules you follow to give people some barriers to think about?
Yeah, so I'll touch on the first point. Yes, you need a website. Number one, it's the new business card. That's the new that is like, if you message from a business email, like I have one like Duncan Media is my handle or URL. That currently doesn't have a website. Currently working on it. The amount of clicks that Duncan.media has gotten, that that's missed traffic that I'm missing on. So if you have a business like email and it's not leading to an actual website, you're going to miss so much free traffic because people want to search who's emailing them, especially if you're doing cold email outreach, like trying to like if you pop up in the inbox and you don't have a profile photo, your
Mm,
website doesn't lead anywhere. Who's gonna like respond back to you, right? So that's number one. It's the new business card. You want to put your face to what you're sending out there. And then even if I did this podcast now, if I didn't have a website to send people to, where are all these people going to go to learn more about me that are interested? Not saying that like that's the reason we do this stuff, but that's just the byproduct of online content creation, right? Where is all this traffic that people are listening to going to go? So you
yeah.
need to have a home base that everyone can just go, get a quick summary of who you are, and if they're interested in working with you, you know, that then so be it. They go and follow the
But you,
steps.
you know what's crazy? I talk to podcasters all the time, and they're like, "I don't need a website. I send them to iTunes," and I'm just like, "You don't understand." Like, well, I think iTunes is good. It is good to send your content, send people to, but you don't control those people. You have to send it to your platform. And that's not even one thing you did mention is that missed traffic, but even a retargeting feature, like
Mm,
let's just say one of your episodes goes viral. If you link it to your website and now you
yep.
have 10,000 people that visited your website, you can run a Facebook ad retargeting those 10,000
Bam.
visitors.
That's it.
Now you can really blow your list. And I know this because, again, I've done it the wrong way where I missed out on traffic, and I've done it the
Yeah.
right way where I capitalize. So
hmm
is that something you help people with too, like retargeting ads and stuff like that, or is it just a funnel work?
I work with the strategy. I don't do the actual, the groundwork, and I'm not an expert at it, man. I would never ever touch something I'm not 100% confident in I can deliver. However, I have a lot of people that I like partner with or I refer people to just because I know they're experts at it. But I understand the thing is with service providers, you need to understand what comes before your service and what comes after. So if you make a website and you don't know how people get traffic to the website, or you don't know how people can retarget and do follow-up funnels and follow-up sales and stuff like that, like even email marketing and stuff like that, you're not going to have much success making a website because you don't understand the full scope of what you're delivering. And that goes for all things. If you're a back-end service provider, like ads or follow-up ads or marketing email-wise, you need to understand how a website works, and because those annoying pop-ups that come on websites
Oh,
every and it's so annoying, right? We don't
nobody
even use
clicks it.
yeah,
If you
yeah,
listening to this and you make those, stop it because
yeah.
I'm not.
Stop it.
When that happens to me, I immediately I'll leave the website. I gotta go. I gotta go
Yeah,
because you just told me getting my email is more important than me getting the content. Because
right.
if you just put it up there even a minute after I've been on a website, that's better.
Mm,
Or even 30 seconds. Or if you put it at the bottom, let me choose. Don't just put it up there as soon as I click on a page.
yeah.
No, I don't even want to read anymore. I had to rant on that. I'm
No,
sorry.
that's facts. That's facts because it's intrusive. You want to make the customer journey, and that's all part of the funnels, right? The customer journey as frictionless and as smooth as possible. And I think a lot of people that don't understand all the steps miss out on that when they're creating a website. So to go back to your last question, the creative constraints we like to give people when they're making their websites is we want to be as 100% conversion driven as possible. So all of
Mm.
our website, whether they're a landing page, whether it's a full website, a personal brand, whether it's an e-commerce store, everything's leading to one action. Whether that's for yourself, you want to book a podcast guest, right? Or sell a course or sell a product. The goal of the page is all driven to one thing. Now, that's a little
Oh.
difficult when you've got multiple things to send people to, but
I got
that's
a question
why,
about that.
yeah.
Before you keep
Mm,
going, I got a question. This is where it gets interesting because I'm not the only one that has this question.
hmm
For me, I help podcasters in three different ways. I help
Okay.
them launch their show, market their show, and monetize their show.
hmm
In your opinion, on that website, would it be better to have a button they click to just join the list and then I separate them after they're on the list? Or should I have three different buttons they can click so they can go straight to the list of their choosing right there?
I would do to the list of their choosing because the fact is the attention span is so small right now in all human beings, myself included. If I'm looking for information, I want it as fast and as quick as possible, as specific as possible for what I'm looking for. If I have to sit through 2 or 3 days of email sequences to get the information I'm looking for, you've lost me. And I'm pretty sure that's the key with most people, right?
Hmm.
So I think your first couple of pages, whenever people find you in Google, like cold traffic, right? They don't know much about you. You need to tell people what you do first and foremost, and then you need to outline what you offer, and then you need to introduce some sort of buttons and choosing of where they can go, right? So if I was consulting your personal brand, I would have it so that what you do, past examples of what you've done, and then what category does each person fit in. And that's how we would sort of structure your website. And then once they choose their path, everything's optimized to get them to convert on that specific choice that they've made.
I love that. I love that. See, I don't know if y'all can tell, but Cam is an expert. I asked him that question so he could show his expertise. Because one thing I've learned is people that don't know what they're doing, instead of saying I don't know, they like to BS you. But people that do know what they're doing can give you a specific strategy right there. And I
Yeah,
think
on the run.
that has to be like imprinted, ingrained in your personal brand. The ability to kind of do it on the fly. I think it's a skill you develop only after you actually have done the work. Like in the beginning, you don't really have that skill because you don't know enough, and you
Yeah.
don't know what you don't know. So now when
Mm,
somebody asks you a question and you don't have an answer, that's when you BS and you tiptoe around it and you
yeah.
never get to the point. But if
hmm
you know it, you can, like, if somebody asks me for how do I market my show or how can I monetize this type of show, I can answer them because
Yep.
I've done it and I've done the work. So, man, I just had to point that out. I noticed that you've done the work. I can tell.
Mm,
I have another question for you about the software side of building a website.
yep.
I think we talked about this a little bit on Twitter.
Yeah.
Um, Card is really, really popular right now because
Mm.
it's so easy to use. It's so simple. Would you suggest somebody using Card, a simple one-page website, or should it be something like WordPress where it's like 8 pages, much more in depth?
Well, so it depends what level you're at, of course. If your business is at a high level and you have multiple services that you offer, a card page is going to limit you, right? I started with card when I first started making sites and stuff like that. The secret to card is you can actually put section breaks, or they're like container breaks, I think the actual name is, and you can separate and actually create multiple pages within Card, which is really powerful. And that's how you can
Hmm.
actually create funnels or websites within Card. It's super powerful, and I think a lot of people miss that fact and they just make a little landing page that leads somewhere else. But if you nurture people through the actual website journey, Card's a perfect thing to get started with. After a certain period of time, and you start actually selling products, and you've gone past that giveaway free lead stuff, I would look at, a Webflow, a ClickFunnels. I have my own SaaS. I'm not trying to pitch it or anything. It's all the same sort of stuff, but like I've made mine specifically for that reason. But Webflow I use as well. My course I'm actually going to launch on Webflow instead of my own personal thing, just to show the different things you can use. I don't want to just be one dimensional. You want to be able to use different softwares and stuff like that as a web designer. Because how can you teach people if you can only teach one skill? If I was like coaching basketball and I only taught you how to shoot one shot from one spot, I wouldn't be a very effective coach. I want to be able to show you how to make different shots from different spots.
I love that. I love it. I will tell you, pitch it. Pitch your software. I have episodes on the show where it's me building in public, mentioning the
Mm,
software and talking about it. I think software is where everybody should be going in this digital world,
yeah,
because it's one of the best ways to get paid consistently, with lighter workload. You don't have to work
yeah.
as much. Yeah, it's hard work. You still got to be focused and all of that, but it's nowhere near as strenuous. Like, I've done much more difficult jobs than sitting at a computer and making sure this goes to this and that works. Like,
Mm.
that's fairly easy compared to what I've personally done. But yeah, tell us about your software, man. Let the people know.
All right, cool. So Quick Creates is my, or .com is my software funnel building software, right? And man, it took me hours. I put 100 different templates in there. So there's 100. You just click on it and it goes, and you don't need to do any of the building. You just change the words and change the pictures. So for people that are listening that want to try funnels, there's a 14-day free trial. Just go give it a go and see if you can build one, because it's essentially card but stacked on top of each other. So you can, and then it has like one-click upsells as well, which is, I'll touch on that in a second. But if you're building a card website and you try and integrate Gumroad or whatever course platform you're trying to sell your product on, it's going to lead them somewhere else. And that's
It's
a
a
problem
headache.
because the attention span is what loses people, right?
Hmm.
If it starts redirecting and the load speed's going and you have bad internet like I do, in the country of Australia, you're going to lose interest and just cancel it, right? But if your software, whether it's whatever it is you're using, but mine, it stays in-house, so everything, like all the page redirects are super fast because it's only got to load one domain, and then that, like, all the content's preloaded. So you just go in, you read the first sales page, people are
Wow.
interested, they click, and then it goes to the next page, and then the one-click upsell. Once they put in their billing information, that's when you upsell, because once someone's given you their credit card, you go, hey, I've got an extra product if you want to add on. It's a lot easier to say yes once you've already given them the credit card, once you've already handed over the money, right? So that's a key for a lot of business owners that they miss. They try and do these upsells before they get the billing information.
Oh, yeah,
Don't
yeah,
do
and
that
and
because
that
you
messed me
just,
up. That messed
mm,
me up too. I can say I did a really bad job with that when I put a book out. I was
mm,
just so I had a book, I had the workbook, the course. I had a whole group coaching or a whole one-on-one coaching program I was gonna do. I'm excited.
mm,
Then I realized, like, I gotta sell a book first, and I didn't sell
yeah,
the book, so I couldn't sell
right,
anything else. And I
yeah.
can tell you, man, that was a big failure.
It's true, man, because if you like, it'd be like if you're going out on a date, right? And you're on a date and you try and go straight to the last step without even having dinner first, you know? Yeah, it's a family friendly podcast. I don't want to, go too deep, but you know what I'm saying. If you try and make the final move before you have dinner and a conversation, things aren't going to go too well. So the same thing with your customer journey. You need to sell your first product or your free product up front and provide value so that people understand, okay, look, he's actually knows what he's talking about. I enjoy his product. I'm going to choose these upsells, but it happens in a matter of minutes with these one-click upsells because you can just go straight from a free product, and then the way you structure your sales pages and stuff like that has to be like a conversation. Like, hey, look, I see that you've bought this first product. I've made this add-on product for those people that want to go a little bit faster. I've made this add-on product for people that want me to do it for you. So when I was building my web design agency page, we give away a free template on how to build your website. But then on the back of that, we upsell the done for you version where we'll do it for you, so you don't even have to worry about
Ooh,
reading. Like
that's
that's an
nice.
example. Yeah.
I like that. I like that, man. This has been a fruitful conversation. I'm glad you had a chance. Shout out to software quickcreates.com, everybody. Cam, before we go, I got one last question for you.
Hmm.
And I ask this to podcasters, but not access to people who have a personal brand too, because I find that we're all really the same.
Yeah.
If you could interview one person, dead or alive, who would it be?
Man. being a basketball player and being someone like that, I just love the game so much. I would have to say, honestly, right now, I would have to talk to LeBron, man. I have to talk to him. I want to speak to him. Like the whole dead or alive thing, there is definitely people in the past, but if I could speak to him right now and just ask him, pick his brain, basketball, he's the smartest basketball player I've ever seen, but then also the what he's doing off the court,
Oh
combining entrepreneurship and athletics, that's my passion. Seeing
man,
athletes go from like amazing what they do to amazing in the business world. Another one I would have to say is like Kobe as well, but like that's still it still hurts. But
yeah, yeah.
LeBron and Kobe,
I'm still with you on all of it. That's kind of people that listen to the show know that's where I started. But when I
mm,
started podcasting, actually, I had a basketball show. I had a whole sports podcast network. I was a part of a major company there. I
wow,
played professionally. I played in college. I was training. I did writing. Like basketball
amazing.
was my entire life at one point. So I'm with you on that, man. That's a really good answer. I think LeBron is
Mm,
like he's setting the mold for a new type of athlete. I don't think we talk
yeah,
about that enough, but him and his whole team at Clutch Sports, like it's not just one little small thing like basketball. They're doing
hmm,
everything. So
yeah.
it's been a game changer. So let people know where they can find you online too.
Yeah, so my Twitter is where I'm most active. So it's at Cam Duncan, and then at the ends at the end is four. So Cam Duncan with four ends, and then just quickcreates.com or quickcreates.agency. Those are my two websites. Go there, and we can chat. We can talk websites all day long. I can talk about it all day, and I'm happy to.
All right, Cam. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. Let's do it again sometime.
All right.